They buried him in a prison graveyard, locked behind cold stone walls. There was no ceremony, no mourning family, and no final words. Just a number carved on a cheap metal plate. That should have been the end of his story. But exactly 7 days later, someone knocked on his mother's door. When she opened it, she screamed. What she saw standing there was her son. Not a lookalike, not a hallucination. Her son, who died in prison. He didn't just come home. He came back wrong. This is a story the media never covered. It never made headlines. But those who lived through it, neighbors, guards, even the priest who conducted the burial, still speak in hushed voices about what happened in a quiet neighborhood on the edge of Houston, Texas. This is not just a tale of a prisoner's death. It's a story of a return that defies logic, science, and everything we understand about life and death. In today's video, we dive into a mystery that continues to haunt a family, confuse investigators, and challenge the very boundaries of reality. Because if this can happen once, who's to say it hasn't happened before, or won't happen again? Marcus Reed was never famous. He didn't grow up in luxury or with opportunity. Born in 1979 in a low-income neighborhood, Marcus had a rough start. His father disappeared when he was 6. His mother, Clara, worked 2 jobs to keep food on the table. Despite her efforts, Marcus fell into the wrong crowd by age 15. He had promise. He liked to draw. He loved old horror movies, and he once said he wanted to be a comic book artist. But reality had other plans. By his early 20s, he had a long list of petty crimes: theft, breaking and entering, and 1 charge of assault. Nothing violent, nothing lethal, but enough to make him a regular name in the court system. Then, in 2004, everything changed. Marcus was involved in a burglary that went horribly wrong. A homeowner came back unexpectedly, and though no one was killed, the confrontation led to Marcus being sentenced to 12 years in prison. He wasn't known as dangerous, just unlucky, desperate, and angry at the world. He served his time quietly. No known incidents inside, no prison riots, no fights. He even volunteered for a literacy program, teaching other inmates to read. The guards described him as quiet, solitary, and respectful. But in the fall of 2015, something happened that no one could explain. According to official reports from the prison, Marcus died of sudden cardiac arrest. He was found in his cell around 2:14 a.m. by a corrections officer doing routine rounds. The autopsy confirmed heart failure. There were no signs of foul play, no drugs, no struggle. He was buried 3 days later in a simple ceremony attended by a prison chaplain and 1 guard. Clara was notified. She broke down, but she didn't have the means to claim the body. It was a private grief, quiet, lonely, and heavy. She went to church, lit candles, tried to find peace. What the report didn't mention, though, was the strange detail the night shift guards noticed. Right around the time Marcus died, all the prison clocks froze for exactly 2 minutes. Security footage during that window went static. All the doors in the cell block unlocked themselves for 30 seconds. The footage resumed afterward, and everything appeared normal again. It was chalked up to a glitch, electrical interference. But for those who witnessed it, it felt like something passed through. 7 days after the burial, Clara Reed heard a knock at exactly 2:14 a.m., the same time Marcus was found dead. She was asleep, but something jolted her awake. She approached the door with hesitation, and what she saw when she opened it made her collapse in shock. Marcus was standing there, Same clothes, same height, same voice, same little scar above his left eyebrow from when he fell off a bike at age 10. But there was something off. He didn't smile. His eyes looked distant, like he was seeing her through a window. He didn't speak much, just said, "Hi, Mom," and walked past her as if nothing had happened. Clara thought she was dreaming, but this wasn't a dream. She sat him down, asked him questions only Marcus would know. He answered them all perfectly. He even recited the last conversation they had before his arrest. She fed him. He ate. He took a shower, went to bed. She sat awake the rest of the night, staring at his closed door, afraid to open it, afraid not to. When the neighbors saw Marcus outside the next morning, they were speechless. Some thought he had been released early. Others assumed he had a twin. But Clara had no other children. There were no twins, no cousins who looked like him. Nothing that could logically explain it. Word reached the prison. They dismissed it outright. They showed the death certificate, the autopsy report, even a picture of the body in the coffin. It was Marcus. So who or what was the man now living in Clara's home? Local church members came to visit. They tried to talk to him. One pastor said he felt a presence in the room that chilled his bones. Marcus looked alive, but his eyes, they were too still, he said, like something was watching through him. He would respond to questions, but never ask any. He seemed aware, but not connected. Present, but hollow. One curious neighbor had installed a door camera months earlier. He checked the footage from that night just out of curiosity. What he found made him delete the file instantly and refuse to speak about it again. The footage didn't show Marcus approaching the door. It showed him just appearing. One frame he wasn't there, the next he was. There was no walking, no shadow, no movement, just instant arrival. A local tech specialist tried to retrieve the footage. It was gone, deleted from the cloud, unrecoverable. But that neighbor, he started having nightmares. He moved away a week later. Over the following days, Marcus began to change. He stopped speaking unless spoken to. He would sit for hours, staring at the walls. He stopped eating. Clara said his presence made the house feel colder, heavier. Lights flickered, clocks ran backward. The family cat refused to enter the house. One night, she woke up to find him standing over her, silent, not blinking. When she asked what he was doing, he replied, "Just making sure." Then went back to his room. She called a spiritual advisor. He arrived, lit incense, and tried to pray. Marcus sat in silence until he suddenly whispered, "You don't belong here." The man left without finishing the ritual. Then, exactly 7 days after his return, Marcus disappeared again. Not gradually. Just like the camera showed before, he vanished. One moment he was on the living room couch. The next, Clara looked up from folding clothes and he was gone. His bedsheets remained undisturbed. His plate still had food. His shoes sat by the door. She called the police. They investigated, again, but no trace was ever found. The grave in the prison cemetery was exhumed. The body was still there, untouched. DNA confirmed it. Whatever or whoever had come home wasn't the Marcus they buried. It's been nearly a decade since that night. Clara Reed moved away. The house remains empty. No one has lived there since. Neighbors say they sometimes still see someone standing by the upstairs window, but when they check again, no one is there. A new family tried to move in. They left within a week. Said their young daughter kept talking to someone named Marcus, who wasn't buried deep enough. The home is still listed for sale. No buyers, no peace. Was it a ghost? A glitch in reality? A mimic? Or something even stranger? Some say Marcus's spirit never left. Others believe something else took his place. But we'll leave the final question to you. If someone you loved came back from the dead, looking and sounding exactly like themselves, would you let them in? Let us know in the comments. And remember, some doors, once opened, should have stayed shut.